It all began one quiet morning in Asheville, North Carolina, a city nestled in the mountains where the air is crisp and the skies seem to stretch endlessly. My name is Emily Carter, a 27-year-old teacher who had always lived a quiet, careful life. I had a steady job, a small apartment filled with books, and a heart that longed for adventure but never truly dared to chase it. Life was predictable, but then came Oliver, my neighbor's stubborn, yet oddly charming donkey. Chapter 1. The Unexpected Beginning. It started the day Mr. Peterson, my elderly neighbor, knocked on my door with worry in his eyes. "Emily," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "I need a favor. My daughter is sick out west, and I have to leave immediately. But I can't take Oliver with me." I glanced at the donkey standing patiently behind him. Oliver stared back at me with the most innocent eyes, his ears twitching as though he could understand every word. "You want me to take care of your donkey?" I asked, surprised. Mr. Peterson nodded. "Just for a little while. He's gentle, though, a bit mischievous at times." I had no idea that saying yes would change my entire life. Chapter 2. The Road Less Traveled. At first, keeping Oliver seemed simple. Feed him, walk him, maybe brush his coat. But Oliver had a different plan. One Saturday morning, I woke up to find him tugging at the gate, braying loudly as if calling me to an adventure. Something inside me stirred. I packed a small bag, filled a bottle with water, grabbed some snacks, and without much thought, decided to take Oliver for a walk into the hills. That walk turned into a journey. As we climbed trails, crossed streams, and wandered through endless meadows, I realized I hadn't felt this free in years. And Oliver, he seemed to guide me, nudging me toward paths I would have otherwise ignored. It was on one of these paths that I met Ethan Walker. Chapter 3. The Stranger in the Hills. He appeared suddenly, leaning against a fence with a guitar slung over his shoulder. His rugged jeans, flannel shirt, and the warm smile he gave when Oliver brayed made my heart skip unexpectedly. "Quite a companion you've got there," he said, pointing at Oliver. I laughed nervously. "Yes, though sometimes I think he's the one taking me on the walk, not the other way around." Ethan introduced himself as a traveler, a songwriter who wandered from town to town, collecting stories. He asked if he could walk with us for a while, and though I was usually cautious with strangers, something about him felt safe, like a melody you've heard before and instantly recognized. As the sun dipped lower, the three of us, Ethan, Oliver, and I, walked together. And for the first time in a long while, I felt like I wasn't walking alone. Chapter 4. Campfires and Confessions. That night, we camped under the stars by a small stream. Ethan strummed his guitar, singing songs about hope, love, and dreams that seemed to dance with the firelight. I watched quietly, feeling my guarded heart slowly unfold. When he asked about me, I shared my ordinary life in Asheville, my fears of taking risks, and how I always dreamed of traveling but never had the courage. He smiled gently. "Sometimes the greatest journeys begin when we stop planning them." Oliver brayed loudly, almost as if agreeing. We both laughed, and in that laughter, I felt a connection forming, a tender, unspoken romance that was as natural as the stars above us. Chapter 5. Challenges on the Path. The days that followed were full of trials. We faced sudden rainstorms, muddy paths, and even a night when Oliver stubbornly refused to move from a patch of wildflowers he seemed to love. Yet through it all, Ethan and I grew closer. We shared stories, dreams, and small silences that spoke louder than words. He would sometimes catch my hand to steady me on steep paths, and each touch left warmth lingering long after. But life, as always, tested us. One afternoon, deep in the valley, Ethan twisted his ankle badly. He tried to hide the pain, but it was clear he couldn't walk properly. I was scared, but Oliver surprised us both, kneeling down as if offering Ethan a ride. Slowly, carefully, I helped him onto the donkey's back. Together, Oliver and I guided Ethan back towards safety. In that moment, I realized how much this journey had changed me. I wasn't just the quiet teacher anymore, I was brave, capable, and ready to fight for those I cared about. Chapter 6. The Gentle Romance. We eventually reached a small town at the edge of the valley. While Ethan healed, we stayed in a modest inn. Days turned into weeks. I would teach local children in the town square, while Ethan played his guitar, and Oliver became somewhat of a local celebrity. Each evening, Ethan and I would walk by the river. One night, with the moon reflecting on the water, he finally spoke the words I had been secretly hoping for. "Emily," he said softly, taking my hand, "this journey started by chance, but I don't think meeting you was an accident. You've become my favorite story." My heart raced. I smiled through tears I didn't expect. "And you've become mine." Oliver brayed loudly nearby, almost as though he was celebrating with us. We laughed, and in that laughter, love blossomed, pure, gentle, and full of promise. Chapter 7. The Journey's End and a New Beginning. Weeks later, Ethan's ankle healed, but neither of us wanted to say goodbye. Instead, we made a decision to continue traveling together. Oliver, of course, remained by our side, the faithful companion who had unknowingly brought two souls together. Our journey wasn't just about mountains, rivers, and towns, it was about discovering love in the most unexpected places. With Ethan by my side and Oliver leading the way, I stepped into a future that was no longer ordinary, but full of adventure, romance, and endless possibilities. Epilogue. A love carved by the journey. Looking back, I often smile at how it all began, with a simple favor for a neighbor's donkey. I thought I was just caring for Oliver, but in truth, Oliver cared for me. He led me to courage, to adventure, and most importantly, to love. And every time Ethan sings Under the Stars, with Oliver grazing nearby, I am reminded that sometimes the greatest journeys aren't about the miles we travel, but the hearts we open along the way.